Hey everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Lucid's tournament, Game 7, where we are playing Helheim. This is turn 35. Jump into things. Okay, so we have completed Blood Magic 3 on our way up to Blood 4. We've cast a series of reanimations. We searched in Dead Forest, found nothing. Proclamation from Femoria, a new prophet for Rudy Giuliani, Prince of Plants and Trees. We have blood hunters that have gathered 35 blood slaves in Tiny Willow. That is good. That is very good. Very, very good. Very happy with that amount of blood slaves. And then we have a battle to witness in Marverni between Calum and Marverni. Let's watch what is going on. In the left corner, we've got Calum with a smaller force. I don't know if Calum just determined that a larger force wasn't necessary. But, yeah, a smaller force. We've got a bunch of Fravashis, right? Interesting fellows. Got 1, 2, 3 of them. He's got a couple of Eagle Kings. Very, very strong mages. He's got a bunch of Arya Seraphs and a couple of Spirehorn warriors. And in the right corner, we have a wall. And then we have, not a whole lot. We've got some bare-chested warriors and some Epony Knights. We've got 2 Great Boars. And these are, of course, the interesting Marverni trick of summon Great Boars and then Great Boars summon more Bibibors, which are all sacred. He does have Enlarge, right? So, cool stuff. So he's got 2 of those. The Great Boar of Carnutes summoning has begun. He's got a bunch of Sequani Stargazers in here, some Taters, a couple of Vergobert, some Elder Druids. These Elder Druids are pretty awesome, actually. So he's got a little bit of a mage core here. We're gonna watch this battle. This is a decent sized battle. We're gonna watch from the side. We're gonna watch from probably a zoomed out perspective, and then we'll take a look at a couple things. So we got Communion Slaves go up on the right side. Storm drops down. And pretty much what happens is as we can see, right? The Spirehorns go up and they intercept the first group, and it's just like 20 air elementals from Calum. So air elementals go up, and air elementals come down, and they basically just destroy everything. The Spirehorns go back up, but by the time the Spirehorns react, 2 air elementals have basically destroyed the entire back line, the entire mage core of Calum. There's a couple thunder strikes mixed in there. It's just over. Like, it was really, really fast. I'm gonna watch it from the Marverni perspective and see if there's anything that they do. So part of the issue immediately is none of these guys are on hold. Right? The bare-chested warriors run forward, the boars run forward, the Epony Knights run forward. They could have at least like made a block. Like the best idea you can do against this is you're not gonna. So he's got Spirehorn warriors. They're gonna fly, right? And you can probably assume that he's gonna do a lot of air elementals. He's either gonna air elemental spam or he's gonna thunderstrike spam. So, if all of your guys run forward, then the air elementals and the Spirehorns are gonna obliterate you. If your guys stay still and he thunderstrikes, then he's gonna obliterate you. The only option that you really have of not being obliterated is if you hold everything together and you self buff or do things like that. And he Spirehorns and air elementals, right? So had Marverni like put all of these guys on guard commander, He's got enough commanders for holding most of them in position. And then had he communioned up and did, I don't know, a bunch of like awakened tattoos. Is his god? Does he have a god here? I don't think he has a god here. Is another thing. I don't see anyone that I think is a god. But let's see what he does magic-wise. We got fanaticism. Oh, so this guy is so after the communion, he's able to. So he has his druids doing H spells. So he's got divine blessing, he's got fanaticism. See, he has legions of steel, man, right? Like he's got legions of steel over here. What's he have on his bless? What do you have on his bless? Oh, he does not have a very big bless. He has poison, mountain survival, and larger. So his bless really isn't gonna do. What's this? Someone cast like a mind burn? Yeah, this Ravashi cast a mind burn over here. That's interesting. So really at this point, with these Earth mages, he should be casting like Legions of Steel, Strength of Giants, that type of things. He should be putting, you know, Iron Skin on his fucking Communion, right? He should be doing something like that, something like Earth Power. I have access to most of those things, right? He should probably be doing, oh, they have Ice Lances, so it doesn't matter. I was going to say he should probably be doing something like Body Ethereal or something like that, but even something like Astral Shield. And if he, so again, this is the concept of he holds all of his people, or he bodyguards all of his people, one or the other. And then he like communions up and maybe like starts doing Soul Slays or Mind Blasts or Mind Burns rather. Yeah, so he's got Strength of Giants. He goes over to Flying Shards. I don't think Flying Shards is going to be anything. If he'd been able to make it to like Blade Wind, that would be pretty good. But like all it takes is 2 air elementals trampling and they completely obliterate him. You know? Pretty much brutalized. It might have been a little different if he'd held his people together, but at the end of the day, he was kind of outgunned. I don't mean he was not out like numbered, but he was outgunned. Calum clearly has very high. I say very high. Really, all Calum has shown repeatedly is he's shown air elementals and thunderstrike. So. And Storm, I guess. So Evocation 5, Conjuration 5, and he's shown Mind Burn, which is like Thaumaturgy 3 or 2, you know. But that's unfortunate. That's kind of a poor showing out of Marverny. Now Marverny had a crappy situation to be in, but they had several turns where they kind of had the chance of recuperating from their losses against Agartha. Doesn't seem that they did very much with it. So we had an unexpected event in Pulmania where we lost some gold, which is unfortunate. We're kind of gold starved at the moment. And then in Menace, Barbarian Scouts are preparing for a large-scale attack. That is annoying. Thaumaturgy rituals are cheaper this month. The construction of the fortress in Brightgate is completed. Yay. And we have started to destroy the walls in Gifa. They are moderately damaged, so half-ish. Hopefully we will be able to get done with that relatively quickly. We killed 40 brigands in Tiny Willow. Okay, what are we doing this turn? This turn is kind of another preparatory turn. We have 25 siege strength on Gifa now. We're bringing in another 25. I don't think the fort will crack this turn, right? But it should crack the following turn. And then the following turn after that, we should be able to take it. In the meantime, we are having Loki cast fires from afar upon Saramatia. We're going to continuously soften up Saramatia. We're also continuing to recruit Hangadrots in the hopes, hopefully, that we get an Air 3. An Air 3 is going to help by allowing us to do things like double up Seeking Arrows or things like that if he should head out from his capital. Otherwise, we're going to fire from afar for a couple turns, and then once we are done in Gifa, we are going to move on the capital. So we don't want to move on Gifa on the capital without being done with Gifa, because we've got 30 Hellherdings tied up in Gifa right now, along with obviously 6 Hirses. So that's a fair amount of firepower that we're losing in not. Or if we were to head towards Saramatia right now. So we're gonna hold for a few turns and soften up Saramatia, and then we are going to move our whole army in that general direction. I say our whole army. We're the army sitting at Brightgate, as well as the other Hellherdings, and the majority of my other units. We're moving around, we're consolidating in Brightgate, but a good portion of what we're doing is preparing for what is going on below us, and that is Calum. So Calum has attacked and defeated Marverni in their capital, in Saren. There's only one more Marverni stronghold left, and that is Aldgold. I've got raiding parties in Marverni, or in Calum, obviously. But Tir Nanog has already begun the attack on Calum. So my hope is over the course of the next few turns to coordinate strikes with Tir Nanog and begin raiding Calum down. Finish off Saramatia, turn on Calum / Marverni, and potentially take over what is happening there. And yeah. That's the near future game plan. So what are we doing in the meantime? We're continuing to blood hunt. Tiny Willow is going well. Up to 74 blood slaves. Very good. Research-wise, we will be done with blood magic for this turn. It's going to take us at least 3 more turns, probably, to finish off Blood Magic 5. At which case, we might take a breather and target something else, or we might just push straight into 6 and 7. I'm assuming we're probably, it depends on how things go, but I'm assuming we're probably going to push straight into 6 and 7, because I think I really want to get access to Ice Devils and Archdevils. And I should have my God in the very near future, so my God should be able to handle Ice Devils, and then my God / Loki should be able to handle Archdevils. So I kind of want to get a pool up at the ready to be able to burn through a fair amount of these. So that's going to take a little bit of focus over the course of the next several turns. We're probably going to require more than one. I mean, we're definitely going to require one. But in the near future, we would require another blood hunting location. So Orman or Sanafe are probably our best bets there. Zimria potentially, but Zimria's kind of reached that population point where I would rather not mess with Zimria. The sweet spot for me, and this is probably different for a lot of people, but it's obviously over 5,000, because 5,000 is where you get the most percentage or percentage, the most ticks for successful blood hunt. You have to have at least 5,000 population, I think. And then past 10k is a little too much, so that's a valuable province. So I prefer to be in between 5 and 10k. So Tiny Willow, Ormond, Sinafe, and Pulmania, but Pulmania is kind of like right on the border. Beloth is a really nice province. I didn't realize that. Anyways, so we're sending some more sneaky Herses and Hellherdings up into Ard to be able to support Gifa if the need is there. Continuing to site search with Jarl 5, continuing to site search with Svart 1 and Jade Sork 1. Moving some troops around here or there. And then in Helheim, we are on Dwarven Hammer number 5. We got 1 Dwarven Hammer, 2 Dwarven Hammers, 3 Dwarven Hammers, 4 Dwarven Hammer. Yes, so we are producing our 5th Dwarven Hammer this turn, and thanks to the Earth Gem events and the actual Earth Gems we've been getting, will be or Earth Gem magic sites and Earth Gem events we've been getting, we'll be able to do another Dwarven Hammer next turn, so we'll be up to 6. This turn we are adding Storm Spools into our rotation. Storm Spools are there almost exclusively for their use against Calum, and I guess against Tir Nanog in the long run, and I guess against Fomoria in the long run. Storm Spools are going to be very useful for us. We are producing Frost Brands every month, so right now what we're looking at is oh, and we're also going to be forging Rings of the Warrior. I don't believe Dwarven Hammers reduce. We can test this real quick. 74. Oh yeah, okay. So Dwarven Hammers do reduce the amount of blood slaves required for forging. But that being said, I care less about 5 blood slaves than I do about 5 gems, obviously, right? So we're just forging Rings of the Warrior out and out. Rings of the Warrior are very useful. They are one, they're very low cost, but 2, the additional morale helps prevent morale breaks. Realistically, though, the really good thing is the attack 5 really increases the efficacy of your Jarls. Because these guys are awesome, but their attack is actually relatively low without boosts. So attack 5 puts them at 19 attack, which means they are very likely to hit. Being very likely to hit means they are very likely to kill with the Frost brand, meaning they are more likely to trigger their Blood Surge, which makes them even killier and also gives them reinvigoration, which means they are yada yada yada, rinse and repeat. So right now what we're looking at is putting a Frost brand, we're gonna get that off him, but putting a Frost brand on someone, right on a Van Jarl, putting a Storm Spool on a Van Jarl, and putting a Ring of the Warrior on a Van Jarl. So that's 9 gems worth of gear. That's kind of reaching that point to where it's a bit, where it's enough, right? Because you don't want to. I mean, I don't know. It depends on the efficacy that you're going to get out of things. Like I could see eventually putting like a better shield on one of these Van Jarls, right? Like a 3-gem shield, maybe something like a. If we were to forge something like a Black Steel Kite Shield. Now, the defense penalty is offset by the parry. If we take a look at the actual, so take Van Jarl 6. What does he have? Oh, he has. Let's take a non-experienced unit. So -2 defense skill, right? is offset by the fact that, so in theory that would drop us to 20, right? But it's a +8 parry versus a 4 parry, and it's a 20, what is that, a 29 protection shield versus a 16 protection shield, right? So it's pretty worthwhile. The biggest issue with something like a Black Steel Kite Shield is actually more the Encumbrance 2. Although you're going to find Encumbrance 2 on a lot of things. Shield of Valor is not bad, but you only get the Dwarven Hammer bonus for one of these. I think it's the first one. So you would only get a 3 Earth, 5 Air, I believe. So that's less good. But it is a nice shield because it gives you air shield and still better parry, better protection, etc. But that gets to the point to where, you know, what's the efficiency of a thug? How much can you put into them before they are no longer efficient? Is 9 gems too much? Is 20 gems too? Is 5 too much? Is 10 too much? Is 20 too much? Right, 20 definitely seems like too much. 10 or under 10, it in between 5 and 10 kind of seems like that sweet spot, right? If you can get away with 6, great. If you can get away, or if you need 9, great, or that's fine, right? So it kind of depends. Right now, I think Frostbrand, Stormspool, and Ring of the Warrior are going to be okay for us. We might end up swapping in some other stuff as well, like a Lightning Spear could be pretty good. Again, shock resistance versus Calum to deal with things like Thunder Strikes or Air Elementals. But also something like a Flesh Eater, right? Putting a Flesh Eater on can completely deal with your issues as far as morale goes, but I tend to not like Flesh Eaters against or on things that don't have regeneration or something to go life with, because Flesh Eaters just tend to mean you slowly get whittled down and die. Okay, I've been rambling around about that stuff for a while now. This is what we're forging for now. The point of it is to kit out some Banyarls, so that we have better options against Calum. We already saw how effective Banyarls are at raiding against Sarmatia, right? And that was just stock, bog standard Banyarls with no gear. Well, I say stock, I mean they have a bless, but throwing something, just throwing a Frostbrand on them is going to increase what they are capable of pretty severely. Anyways, that's going to be it for this turn, because I really don't have anything else going on. We're just storing up gear, softening up Sarmatia, sending in raiders into Calum, and coordinating with Tirnanog, and kind of Fomoria to a lesser extent. And that should be that. Hopefully our research goals are going to work out for us here in the near future. They, at the very least, will allow us some interesting magic diversity, I guess is one of the better ways of saying it. We've got a weird situation going into this mid game, or late early game, early mid game. We are not in a power position. We are going to have to be clever as we work our way into this game. We're gonna have to figure some stuff out. All right, anyways, that's going to be it for me. I will see you all next time. Bye, everybody.